Is this like any town in Minnesota that you wrote about?
That was just like northern, way northern Minnesota. I lived in Minneapolis for a few years, and I've written a few things that take place there. It's my favorite place to write about. I chose like a way northern kind of Minnesota lake town. Mercury's not real because I didn't want to piss anyone off. So it's better that way.
Although you sound pissed off. Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah. Okay. This is a multi-part thing or so.
I'll do the middle part.
It's kind of something for a little bit of everyone. First, this goes to Patton. You did a great job, really good. And I left a Facebook comment once that if I ever got a chance to meet you again, I would give you the card, and I have the card with me. It's not like the blank spot. Don't worry.
That's really ominous sounding. Oh, is the card an actual card? It's not some weird physical move? No. I really want to give you the card, if you know what I mean. I don't, and I don't want to know. What is happening?
Okay. Basically, so I read an interview once where you made a connection to a movie.
Is this a 24 thing where it's coated with a virus and my skin feels
No.
All right, okay.
I know you got a family, you got a daughter.
All right.
I wouldn't do that.
Wait a minute, you know I have a daughter? Now this
That's one thing I've done all October.
This card is not coated, is it?
No.
Okay.
His t-shirt says, I am very bitter about it.
I know.
That's literally what his t-shirt says.
Yeah, I am very bitter and I like it. Oh dear God. All right.
Yeah. I read a little fan site. I thought maybe you
Wish
might
I had tongs. Oh, you run this site?
I do.
I visited this site 2 days ago. I'm not kidding. I like to see if there's any updates. He runs a fan site for a movie called Village of the Giants, which is this movie that kind of started my giantess fetish, especially because of Amos in front of me. Creepy. Wow.
We're both feeling our guys.
Yeah.
But okay.
He runs a site called sexpoo.gov, and it really no, it's this really insane movie from the 60s with Ron Howard and Bo Bridges. And why am I? God, thank you. All right.
But yeah, you fulfilled my October wish. But I'll move on. I've taken up too much time. But Diablo. One thing
I'm kind of a giantess, aren't I?
What was that?
I'm kind of a giantess, aren't I? A little bit.
Oh yeah, well, down here you look pretty huge.
Yes. What I wanted. Just what I wanted.
This is one of the most awesome days I think I've had this month so far.
Okay.
But
For us too.
what's funny was I got some friends. They love your movies, and one of them, her mom's name is Mavis, so I can't wait to tell her about.
I don't know many Mavises. I've heard
Yeah.
like Jay Leno's wife was named Mavis.
Oh.
And it was a name that I really liked as a kid, and so I made her Mavis.
Oh, okay. You've answered the question.
There you go.
This is also for Jason. Also, this is one of the big things about this because I know I didn't go into this, and because of that, I think it made it all the more enjoyable. And the kind of question that was on my mind is, how do you market a movie like this? Do you have any ideas?
We're looking at it.
Yeah, there you go. You take the director, the writer, the star, you put them on the road.
Yeah, they show up in random theaters and they...
Yeah. Our life is a Bob Seger song right now, my friend.
Night moves.
Wow. Dude, it was wonderful spending this evening with you. That was fantastic. Wow.
I have a strange little detail question for Diablo.
It won't seem strange, I promise.
Something that I noticed watching this is, it seems to be a little motif that you have that was also in Juno is the fingernails. You had a lot of shots with the fingernails in this movie and a lot of little mini, I don't know, not necessarily throwaway lines.
It's weird. There are motifs in this. The fingernails thing I've never thought of, so that's new. But there are a couple of things in here that are references to other things that we've done, such as the Maker's Mark is something that is ordered in both films. What's the thing with the donuts? I'm sorry, do you not want to talk about
No,
that?
no, not at all.
Is it secret?
No, there's an up in the air reference at the end when
Yeah,
the donuts are only for the honors members of the hotel.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple
Which
little
they
things.
loved, apparently.
There are a couple little things from the Reitman verse.
Please, no.
No, don't do that. All right, sorry. I made that up right now. But they're, little references, but the fingernail thing, actually, that's new to me.
For Diablo, do you have in your mind kind of an idea of what happens to Mavis after what we just saw?
I think more of the same in a lot of ways, which is, kind of implied. I suppose it's possible that she experiences some personal growth, but at the same time, I think she is essentially the person that she is, and I hope that she finds some happiness, because I actually do have a lot of affection for her. I don't really consider her a villain, but I don't know. I've always had trouble answering those kind of questions. I don't know what happens to characters when things are over. I just think that fundamentally she is who she is.
I was more worried about what happened to Patton's character. It's either the greatest thing that's ever happened to him or the beginning of the end. Like that's, and I don't know. I still haven't figured that one out.
In the character bio that I wrote, he builds an extendable katana blade in the crutch, goes over to Russia, becomes the limping hitman. It's I'm pitching it to New Line right now. We're very excited.
This is for Diablo. Is it possible to say that this is a revision of Jennifer's body, and why do you center on teenagers so much? Thank you.
Well, I think in this movie it's actually the character who's fixated on teenagers for once, and not me. But I know what you mean. It was. I guess it seemed like the next logical step as a writer was to explore maybe why I was so obsessed with adolescent themes, and so I worked a little bit of that out in Mavis. But it's funny, like people have mentioned the similarity to Jennifer's body, and that you have this kind of cool, calculating, gorgeous monster, making her way through the story. But I think Mavis is a little more complicated. I don't know. It's interesting though. I do like hot bitches.
I have a question as well. I'm a born and raised Minnesotan, and after seeing both Juno and this one...
He's going to rush the stage. I feel like he's going to rush the stage. Where's security? Can you not hear the rage in that voice right now?
That actually has to do with part of my question. Well, I'm just curious why you decided to choose Minnesota for both.
Jennifer's body also takes place in Minnesota, so this is the third.
Diablo, tell me.
Sorry.
Bad enough right as it is.
Well, my question is why is it painted in this like dark, depressing, and strangely accurate?
Thank you for the third descriptor. Yeah, pretty much. I have to say, weirdly enough, I'm from here, and I only lived in Minnesota for 4 or 5 years of my life. But weirdly enough, it just, I wrote Juno while I lived there, I said it there, and then it just kind of became this thing that I do. I'm not sure why. I've tried to figure it out. They really liked that when we did the screening in Minneapolis. It doesn't seem to be going over as well here. But yeah, I don't know. Kind of weird.
I've got a question for all three of you. I was wondering how different the characters were between what was on the page and what ended up on the screen, and how the three of you kind of collaborated, and how Diablo and Jason collaborated with Charlize Theron and everyone else to kind of make the characters evolve, and I don't know, how different they are from what was first conceived, and how much of like personal investment there was by Patton and others.
Well, I mean, I gotta say, I thought Diablo in the script wrote a pretty clear character for me to I mean, especially some of his specific phrasing is so things that I've heard coming out of my head when I'm hurt, or defensive and out of my friends' heads. So she really did kind of get that, the outsider behind the wall of cynicism, the safety cynicism, if you will. You know, so I didn't have to, again, this is one of those scripts, I didn't have to do a whole lot, you know, insofar as changing the dialogue. I think there were a couple little suggestions I made here and there, but it wasn't anything ever profound. And I'm, again, I'm
glad you made suggestions. I hope I wish you would make suggestions on every line I ever write. I'd be a way better writer.
Well, I just think that there's too much of a cult of improvisation going on right now in Hollywood, and that there's, I mean, by the way, there's been a lot of great improv movies. I'm not against improv as an idea. What I'm against is people improv hates improv. Yeah, exactly. Fuck you, laughter, says Oswalt. I'm just saying, improv after you've read the script. There seem to be people that they begin improvising without cracking the cover of the, like, I'm just going to throw this out and I'll think of my own things. Like, maybe the script's amazing and you'll look great if you read it. You know, like, ultimately it's about you on screen. If there's great lines, fucking read them. You'll look awesome. So, you know, there's a lot of that in me. As much as I like to improv, I also like a good script. And this was a great fucking script, and I got to read it, and I didn't want to, you know, mess that up. So, and I'm sorry for all the f-bombs.
Yeah. Oh no, it was the characters are the people who were on the page. I mean, I fell in love with the script, and that's why I wanted to direct it. And from that moment, it's strange. I felt this on Juno, and I felt this on this film. That my job as a director is to carry a child at that point. You know, is to. No, I mean that. I know that it sounds like really sassy, but it's... Next question.
You can't just stand behind you groaning into the mic while you talk about it.
Does that make the DVD extras the afterbirth? This is for my blog. Please answer clearly. State the question and the answer so I can print the whole thing. Thank you.
I have a question for Patton.
Yes?
As someone, you know, I really followed you more as a comedian for a long time, but between this film and Big Fan, you've moved towards a few kind of more serious things. Is there something that's drawing you towards that or motivating you towards it?
Luck. I've just been very lucky that I was handed two really amazing, I mean, it wasn't handed, I had to read it a couple times. Right? I'm like, all right, I'll use the other fat guy from King of Queens, fine. But like, I've just been very lucky that I've been handed really good, and the people trusted me enough, first with Big Fan and then with this one, to do them. And I was also lucky that I seem to have been able to do them, and I hope but again, I'm not drawn towards, oh, I want to do a drama now, I want to do a horror movie. I'm a big movie buff. I just like doing really good movies of any kind. So it's a good script. I got to be in a good movie. That's the most exciting thing, you know?
I guess that kind of gives me a follow-up question, though.
Oh, God.
So you said the other guy from King of Queens, so how was Sam James?
Everyone's a comedian. Actually, if you have not seen Big Fan, you need to see it because Patton is amazing.
That was really great script. That was really good. Like, holy God, all I got to do is read this.
Actually, can I do a Q&A? Can I ask you a quick question about that?
Why not?
Because in the script, the character has a romance.
I know.
This girl works in a park, who comes to visit him at the parking lot, and it's not in the finished film. Did you shoot that scene?
We did not shoot that scene. I think what the director decided was he wanted to keep this guy as isolated as possible. So they kept him isolated, and then if you watch the movie, there's an image at the end where he's become full circle and is completely isolated, which I won't give. If you haven't seen the movie, there's a way that he communicates with the world that by the end of the movie, it's how he's communicating with his only friend, and you realize he's gone. He's completely gone. And it's such, like, again, you know, just like with Diablo script here, Robert Siegel's like, I do not want to blink from the ride down. I don't want to blink from that. I want to go take this where it's going to go. It was awesome to do it back then, so.
Hey guys, thanks for coming to Chicago and reading the film. First, Jason, I want to say you're a genius for casting Patton Oswalt in this film. I mean, it was a great performance. It was, I think, a role you felt so naturally.
Dude, I'll deflect it, man. I want to pretend like I'm humble. Shut the fuck up, man.
And then also, I know it's never to be trusted, but I saw on IMDb, J.K. Simmons was shown to be casted as narrator. Was this something that was intended for the voiceover for the stories?
No, he's in there. I don't know why someone said out there that he was the narrator at one point. I have no idea who did. He plays her boss. So the 2 times that she gets phone calls from her boss, that's JK.
And show his voice too, like
I know. Yeah. I literally was in editing and I just said, I need JK to do this, and I said, hey JK, here, can you call my phone? I'm gonna email you some words. Just read that into my voicemail and I'll put it in the movie. And that was it. He just like called my cell phone and that was his day of work.
All right. Fine.
Yeah.
Done.
So I just have a couple questions. One, how long did it take you to film the movie